So in the wake of recent news that both Vice President Biden and Vice President Pence were found with classified documents in their private residence, I have been flooded with comments and tagged in a lot of videos that I would boil down into two basic statements that I think require some clarification. So let's clarify, shall we? Number one, the Vice President cannot declassify documents. Is it true? Now, the idea that the president can declassify but the vice president cannot is simply not right. The vice president can classify and declassify documents, and that's what Executive Order 13526 states. I'll keep this order in mind because we're coming back to it. Now, this behind me is Executive Order 13526, and in this section says that both the president and the vice president, among other people, can classify documents. And in this section, there's two elements that are important to saying who can declassify documents, and it says that it's the person that originally classified the documents, as long as when they declassify it, they're in the same position, and a supervisory official of either the originator or his or her successor. So in both cases, the vice president can declassify. Now, some people have argued that this particular element here says, this particular subsection says that Biden can only declassify things that he classified, but it is just a theory. The executive order doesn't say that. It's a theory that has never been proven or disproven in court. So until that happens, the vice president can, in fact, declassify documents. But more importantly, in my opinion, declassification doesn't matter in any of these cases. None of these documents are likely declassified. Again, in my opinion, in most cases, declassification is ordered and recorded, and there's just no indication that this has happened. That's true for the Trump, but also for the Biden and the Pence cases. Now let's go to point number two, and that is the president can take classified documents out, but the VP cannot. Is that true? Now, while the general rule is that classified documents cannot be removed from their safe location, safeguarding is disciplined by the Executive Order 13526 that we saw earlier and by Statute 32 CFR 2001 subparagraph E. And according to these rules, documents can be removed to conduct official meetings and conferences as long as they're then returned. Now, what constitutes a meeting when you're a POTUS or President of the United States or the Vice President of the United States is pretty broad, which would make removal basically a lawful act. So depending on how that statute and the executive order are interpreted, either both the vice president and the president of the United States can take those documents out, or neither can. So at the end of the day, once again, the issue is willful intent. We don't know that Pence or Biden knew about those documents and intended to retain them, but not the same thing can be said about Trump. And now you know.